Hi Colin, you're one of Australia's best competitive eaters at the moment. I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about some of the competitions that you've won recently.
Sure. Well, I just got back from a trip to Melbourne actually. This was pretty crazy for us, but we're actually in Etihad Stadium before an AFL game. So in front of a few tens of thousands of AFL fans, there we are on a table doing this burger eating competition. And unfortunately, didn't quite win. The winner got 3.5. I got 3 burgers in 5 minutes, but that was just a fantastic moment. And then another favourite would probably be in Adelaide at this pasta eating competition, where I ate 1.5 kilos of pasta in just over 2 minutes. And that was a lot of fun. ABC News actually were there to film it, and it was great.
Awesome. So what sorts of things have you won in competitive eating?
Probably a lot of little prizes. One of my bigger ones was an iPad. That was in a Japanese restaurant in a noodle eating competition. So I love that because the Japanese have been into this for a long time. So it was kind of a historic time. I won a night in a luxury hotel, which actually went to a certain relative of mine who was having his honeymoon there actually. So that was fun to be able to contribute to that experience. And lots of restaurant vouchers and small amounts of money and so on. So.
Fantastic. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm just wondering if you had any tips or advice for people who are new to the sport.
Sure. Well, the first thing would be a safety thing. There is a small risk of, it's safe overall. There is a small risk of choking. People have actually died, so you're probably like me and don't care about safety advice, but just think about that because stuff has happened. Maybe be around somebody who has medical training and keep some water with you as well. But as for the tips, I'm a speed focused person, that's my specialty. So my tip is try to chew less and have a bit of water to drink when you eat the food if you're going in a sort of speed related competition, because you'll just get it down faster. Practice, surprisingly practice makes perfect just in this, just like anything else. If you're doing a volume competition where it's like a restaurant challenge where you've got to eat some massive meal and you're not sure if you'll fit it in, I recommend just having a large meal 24 hours before, or even a few of them. The morning of the competition, just have a small breakfast, a bit of fruit or something like that, which will digest quickly, and then have no lunch and then just do the competition. So you're nice and hungry, your stomach's empty. For another type of competition, which would be the chili challenges, that can hurt. I recommend that you, before the competition, if there's room, have some yogurt or have some milk very shortly before, because that'll actually dilute some of the chili, because you want to throw up sometimes when you've got very strong chili in your belly, so it'll hurt your mouth, but hopefully it'll do your digestive system a bit of help just to have some of that milk product in there as well. And after the chili challenge, I also drink a lot of milk. Chocolate milk's probably great. A sweet fatty yogurt is good as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. And do you have any advice for people who are thinking about practicing? Any safety tips if they're thinking about practicing at home or something like that?
Sure. Well, there's a big organisation in the US which says we strongly discourage home training of any kind. So my safe advice would be don't train at home. Just make sure there's somebody who's trained in first aid around you. And yeah, just be careful with dry foods particularly. Actually, one of my bigger tips would be just think about when you breathe. This might sound silly, but if you're in a speed competition, you want to be continually chewing and using your mouth for chewing. So breathe through your nose, give space in your mouth, and time it. Like if I've just swallowed, think, no, I'm not going to breathe. So I just swallowed a chunk of food, it's going down my throat. No, I've got to wait. I can feel it there. I'll wait till it passes, then I'll breathe. Might sound funny to think about it like that, but it can mean the difference between winning a competition or not, and it'll also make the difference between choking or not.
Very good. And have you ever experienced a lot of pain in terms of volume of food that you've eaten?
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's not a great feeling to have a huge amount of food sitting in your belly. And yeah, I just feel a bit of a tiredness, a bit of discomfort. But it passes, as you know.
Do you recommend exercise?
Definitely. Try and keep healthy, try and keep slim. I don't want to encourage obesity and eating bad foods. So most of the competitive eaters these days, sure, they'll eat the junk food for the competition, like the burger or the pizza, but for the rest of the time they'll eat healthy, they'll do exercise. So I really encourage you to just make this the exception to the norm when you eat this sort of food, and get lots of exercise as well.
Can you tell if somebody would be a good competitive eater just by looking at them?
No, you can't at all. I mean, a lot of the assumption is that they have a belly like this. They might be, 7 foot tall. There's a Japanese guy, Kobayashi, who shocked the world when he doubled this hot dog record in the US, beating Americans who weighed over 200 kilograms. And here's this tiny, skinny, 60 or 70 kilogram Japanese man who smashes them. So there's no way you can tell. There's some skinny Asian women in the US who are just exceptional, so you really cannot tell.
Awesome. And why do you think people do competitive eating?
Well, I'm hungry. I've got to eat something. I mean, I can win a free meal, so it's always good. But no, seriously, it's heaps of fun. I just love it.